billion kwacha. However, one interesting component in this 2022 national budget is the allocation of Constituents Development Fund, CDF, from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha. Now, this comes in the backdrop of the empty coffers, which is said to have been inherited by the UPND administration under President Hakainde Hichilema. The opposition National Restoration Party, NAREP, under its leader, Stephen Nyirenda, has held a strong belief for a long time that Zambia is only or should be for Zambians. Let's find out if at all the 2022 national budget will save Zambians. He joins me on set. President Nyirenda, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. IP. Is that internet protocol?
I decided to shorten my name. Okay. Some people, they mispronounce innocent, others they will use a small letter, innocent, okay. So just IP.
IP. Zambia is for Zambians, as usual. Only Zambians will develop this country. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to be here for the first time in the new dawn government.
Right. I'm glad the last time you appeared on this program, of course, you were in the opposition. Of course, and you did appear on this platform way back when you were in the UPND Alliance, you know, and again, I don't know if you are still a member of the Alliance or you are alone, I'm not sure, but I know that you are Mr. Nyirenda and NAREP. Finally, we are in the new dawn together, as promised. Let's find out from, let's punch holes into the budget. Do you think the budget is going to save Zambians in line with your beliefs?
The issue, Mr. IP, is not to punch holes. The issue is to look at the issues
in the budget
that pertain to the saving of the Zambians.
Right.
Me as a businessman, when everyone approaches me for a piece of advice or whatever, I look at only 2 pages first. Before I go deeper into the flesh, I look at the income and expenditure. You are spending money for what reason? Now, I want to talk about 3 positions which are very, very important. I'll talk about the agriculture sector. I'll talk about the mining sector. I will talk about the tourism. These are very important sectors which can make us in Zambia prosperous, all of us rich, all of us enjoy this country, the wealth of this country. Now, I will start with agriculture. Year in, year out, they have got what they call Farmers Input Support Program, FISIP. This year, or 2022, the UPND has carried on, despite ourselves literally heavily refusing in the opposition the past 1.5 years that have been there, that FISIP should be thrown in the garbage because it doesn't help anybody. Now here it is again. The UPND are spending 5 billion kwacha to push it in Farmer Input Support Program. On the income side, there is 0 from agriculture sector. And the agriculture sector is one sector that can actually make us all smile, make us all rich, make us basically finance our even 200 billion budget. But there's 0. Number 2, I'll go on the tourism. Tourism, if you handle it properly, it is like you open a tap or the rains are coming, they are not stopping. They are dropping the kwachas or the dollars and so on, if you handle it properly. But if you don't, it is inhibited. When I look at this budget, the UPND government wants to spend about 1 billion on infrastructure vis-a-vis making airports all over in the northern province, Bangweulu, and so on and so on. Now, they are spending 1 billion. What they get out is merely 17 million, which is 1.7% of the 1 billion. Now, people who argue with me to say, oh, no, once they do all this infrastructure, they will get a lot of money. We have an example. We did the Livingstone. We did the Copper Belt, Ndola. All these airports have been done nicely. Who do they benefit? They're benefiting South Africans. Because South Africans heavily advertise the Victoria Falls as South Africans, and so on and so on. Now, with us, I'm saying spend just perhaps $500 million in advertising so that we can tell the world, we can tell the locals about our advertising, about our tourism. It will be different. The third one is what they call mineral royalty.
Under the mining sector.
Is 12 billion. When I calculate 12 billion, is almost about $600 million. Now, $600 million translated further into how many trucks is about almost 70,000 trucks that are moving outside there. Right. With our staff per year. Now, if I take 700 tons of copper per year, now if it's not only copper, there's manganese, there is cobalt, there is emeralds and so on. If I reduce a bit down, you'll find that perhaps it's only 5% what we are enjoying from the copper that goes out. If I calculate further, which I can show, it's every 110 trucks of copper going outside this country, you only have 5 which are for the Zambians. Does that make sense? In reality, before, in the UNIP government, copper used to cater for the complete budget, Zambian budget, 100%. And we were enjoying. Schools were for free, hospitals, everything. Definitely, we have grown. But once you grow, you also grow what you produce. Now, when you look at this budget, as I'm talking about now, these are expenditures. Turn it over to the income. There is no any line apart from tax. Apart from tax, a few people who are working, which says this is how we are going to get the income. Is tax as well as borrowing. 45% tax, 43% borrowing. That's what finances this budget of ourselves. Is that normal? No. No, it's not normal. We need to have a sector where now we say, okay, these monies that we are going to push inside, they are going to create so many billions. And these are the billions that we are going to use to pay these credit facilities. I'll go further. If you are going to employ 30,000 people, as they are saying, teachers. Just imagine that, say, one teacher gets 4,000 kwacha, minimum. So I multiply by 30 per year, it's about 1.4 billion. But it's not only the salary. This person needs also where he sits, the classroom, where he works from, the chalk and so on. He needs another 1 point. So you are talking about 2.8 to 3 billion. That goes for this person. A civil servant is not a productive sector. Civil servants give out services. They are not producing money to add to the economy or to the wealth of the country, no. You need somewhere where you are creating money. That's why we are talking about taxes, borrowing, but we can create money and put more money in the coffers and employ more people. So that 3 billion that they are going to use to pay these 30,000, they can say, okay, let's take this 3 billion and push it first of all in the productive sector. When the productive sector makes more money, you will keep on employing without an end. It is, of course, good for an individual who is employed. If I'm employed today as a teacher, I'll feel good. I've got a job. I'll jump up and celebrate. But at the end of the day, the government will not sustain. We have seen that students have been rioting the past few days because teachers haven't been paid, lectures haven't been paid. Now you want to add more salt to the wound. You want that's what it looks like. So for me, if you look at this budget, it's a budget without innovation, without creativity. It's a budget where you have got a template which was made by MMD. And this template, everybody takes it on the computer, everybody puts it there, just changes the figures inside. The template PF came and took over changing the figures. UPND has come, is taking over and changing the figures. There's no thinking behind it.
That sounds very, strange altogether compared to the submissions that have been given by, some of the people that sat on that platform where you are today. You sound very different from all the guests, or some of the guests that have hosted so far. Now, let's come back to, let's deal with the agriculture sector that you've talked about.
Yes.
Matters to deal with the FISIPs.
Yes.
I think some people argue with you, including the farmers that are watching you right now. Because remember, it was the politicians, for God's sake, politicians once again, under the PF administration, that came up with this initiative. And what they told the farmers and we, the people of Zambia, was that FISIP was one progressive, idea or initiative that was going to help cushion the problems or the challenges that farmers are going through. And under the New Dawn government as well, we have seen much more, again, improvement to that effect. So why should we get away from these what were once described as progressive initiatives? Just talk to a farmer.
First of all, I've moved around this country. There's no farmer who describes us as progressive. First of all, let me say this. FISIP was introduced by MMD. And I have always said, whoever started the FISIP did not end the thinking. If the thinking was to start from A to Z, they started from A, they stopped at C. And that was all. And we are all taking it up. Mr. IP, let me say this. FISIP, you give 7 bags of fertilizers to a family of 10. Some are 15. 7 bags of fertilizers. 7 bags of fertilizers are going to make you farm only 1 hectare. In that 1 hectare, are you really going to get money to sustain your 10 member family? It's impossible. And we have seen, Mr. Piri, you have moved. You have been all over. And you have seen the poverty, which is with the peasant farmers. You have seen the suffering. Some of them, they don't even get those 7 bags. Some get 3 bags, some 1, some just a dish of fertilizers. And you are left like that. FISIP has made our people literally very, very poor. Has made our people even go worse than where they were. It's like when you are sick, you need 4 tablets, and you are given a quarter of a tablet. You can't get well. FISIP should be cancelled. Now, I will say this. You take 5 billion, put it in buying fertilizers and seeds and giving to the people. Right? 5 billion from the taxpayers. Now, at the end of the day, you have received nothing. Even the people that you gave, they are hungry. You have to go to DMU, Disaster Management Unit, to go and get another maize and miremiro to take to the same people that you took the FISIP to. Does it make sense? It doesn't. And I think everybody, even the farmers that have visited, they are crying. But that's the only thing they have. What can they do? They just receive. Even if they say they don't receive, they say they don't like it. But that's what they have. They have no choice. It's imposed on them. We are saying, give the farmers proper empowerment. The one who wants to do 100 hectares, let him do 100 hectares. The one who wants to do 50 hectares, let him do 50 hectares. The one who wants to do 1 hectare, give him 1 hectare. Have an area where you have a productive equipment. You have got all these fertilizers. You've got teachers, farmers, farming officers who can teach, agricultural officers who can teach. Now, a person who wants to farm will go there to say, I need 200 bags of cement, of fertilizers. I need 100 bags of seed. I need so much. I need this equipment. Give him. Calculate how much does it cost. This is a credit facility of 200 or 300,000 kwacha. We are giving you this credit facility in the form of what you need. We will monitor you. We will help you to market your stuff. Right? Yeah. And then that person goes. Now, we said as well, create farming blocks where you strategically put Zambians. Don't create farming blocks like Mkushi. You put white people who are flying in with their planes, take everything, take it out, export out, the money goes there, and Zambia has nothing. If you look at the agriculture sector, Zambia has no income on the agriculture sector. If it doesn't got income, what are those foreign farmers, white farmers, what are they doing in this country? Who are they producing for? Why are we hungry in this country? Why don't we have proper food reserves in this country? It is a disaster. And as long as we do not look at agriculture and put our innovation and creativity and give it in the hands of the Zambians, we are going to remain slaves. And the whites are coming here, they are farming what they want to farm, they export it to their countries, and the monies are paid outside there. And we sit, we are saying we are making a good budget. This budget is a disaster. Yes, it is. I go further. You give incentives to the white miners. You give incentives. Right up now we are getting, let me talk about copper. We are getting less than 5% from our copper. So if 100 trucks are moving outside there, only 5 trucks belong to me. Is that normal? It doesn't. And you go further and give them incentives. In the meantime, they are even stealing. Copper has got a lot of byproducts. 2 of the major byproducts of copper is gold and cobalt. Cobalt in all the chargeable batteries. These phones we have, the computers, now the big industry that is looming so that we go green for the car, the auto industry, electric auto industry, it needs cobalt. But these guys are not declaring it fully. Cobalt is 61,000 kwacha per ton. Can you tell us in your budget that from cobalt alone, we are going to earn so many billions? From copper, we are going to earn so many billions. From emeralds, Zambia has got the best emeralds in the world. Can you tell us? Actually, these things I've mentioned alone, they would give out over 173 billion without us going to borrow. But we are lazy. We take a template which was done by MMD in the 90s and put it on a computer and changing figures year in, year, and you are just sitting, okay, what am I going to do? This year I gave the teachers 9 billion as salaries. Next year, the 2022, I'll give 10 billion as salaries. The 2023, I'm going to give them 14 billion salaries. This is without thinking at all.
And what could be the way forward, President Nyirenda, in as far as improving the agriculture sector is concerned? You know, I know that's why you've got a lot of passion in that line, because remember, again, we've got a lot of agriculture experts out there, or agriculture extension officers, again, that have not yet been paid their monies, not even talking about the increment in terms of salaries. You know, how can we realize this sector to become viable once again, besides you calling or naming this budget as a disastrous?
Yes. Let me start, first of all, by ourselves taking agriculture seriously. I've done a bit of research, and I've got friends that I studied with, top guys who are in top management in these ministries. Every program, 99% of programs in the agriculture sector, they are financed by donors. Does that ring the bell to you? Do you think really donors, they love us so much to go and finance everything, every seminar, every research, do you think they love us? No. They are doing it for themselves. Once they do all this research, they have the knowledge. We have nothing. They will tell you, no, this and this and this. They're doing it for themselves. I was looking at these adverts which they say, oh, they have been sponsored by the University of Baltimore, what and what. Do you think those universities have money to come and put in Zambia? No. They want to take your knowledge so that you remain without knowledge, so that they can come and manipulate you. As they have manipulated us now, we don't have a seed. The seed belongs to Americans, belongs to the Europeans that we are using. Everything that is going GMO now, we don't even know what we are eating, because the research is not in our hands, it's in the hands of the Western world. That is dangerous, very dangerous. How I would wish that our Zambia for Zambians comes up. You put a lot of money in the local research and make sure that you take the youth, give them, open them lands on all pieces of land in all districts, tell them what to farm, monitor them, give them the machinery, give them the knowledge, give them the monies by giving them as a way of a credit, long-term credit. Give them 10 years, 15 years. If somebody is 30, give him 15 years to pay back. The guy is going to grow. Find market, and market is not a problem. Look at Congo, look at Angola. They are feeding from us. They are feeding from South Africa. That is our market. But we are sleeping here, totally sleeping. We have got a lot of land. We can produce a lot of cash crops. You know, somebody was telling me, you know, this cashmere or this garment that you use, it's not polyester, but it's made by this worm. That worm depends on how do you feed it. You feed it with the leaves. But if you don't have land where to plant those plants that are giving you the leaves to feed the worm, you cannot do it. Now Zambia has got a lot of land. It has got everything. We can do all agricultural products in so many ways. You know, I just tried one time to plant grapes in my yard. Right. And it's growing like a bush. It's fruiting like what? Why do we want to import wine when we can do our own grapes and make wine here? There are so many things that the list is endless. Right. We can do literally almost everything that we need. As I'm talking like that, let me come back to the market. Sure. You know, Africa is the biggest market in the world. We have got 1.4 billion. It defeats China, it defeats Europe, it defeats America. America is only 800,000. Now, the problem is this, what I started with. We are brainwashed. We think that everything should come from America. We think everything should come from Europe. And we think that everything should come from Asia. Why do you want to go and borrow this little money? Don't borrow. Suffer a bit. Tomorrow you're going to be okay. Where do you think
the money will come from? You know, because we've been told that the UPND government has inherited empty coffers. we had that interview, of course, when Bali was just sworn in. So it's evident enough that we have no money.
If it was empty coffers, I don't know how the ministers are going on the road.
We've been also told that it's borrowing at a cheaper, rate.
IMF.
Of course.
Let me say this. That's another area that I wanted to touch. there are certain things in this budget which look good, but I don't know the finishing. We'll talk about them. Now, if you see, they want to borrow 75 billion, eh?
Yeah.
75. About 50 from external and about 25 local. Yeah? 75. And they want to pay back 85, 82, 81 or 82, paying back. Now, when I compare the two, yeah, it's 43 and the 47. 47% you want to pay back, 43% you want to borrow. So the effective money that you can use is 4%. It's 4%. It's peanuts. So basically what they are doing, they are taking this money to fill into this hole. That's what they are doing.
Because you've said that we can die little, you know.
Dying little for me.
These are more like perilous time, moments.
Yes, dying little for me. Don't borrow. Go to the people that you owe money. I owe money. Mchakwatu akamba uti ni mange manja munisiye mendo nzienda. Mwaona mchakwatu hicho. Sinzi wakapena mnankala kwa kumunzimu. Mwene kawa town. Mwaona. So what I mean is that go and ask to say, please give me a benefit of doubt. Give me a payment holiday of 2 years or 3 years if you can, and see what I'm doing. Monitor me. I'm new on the scene. Give me that. Now, if they were giving a repayment holiday of 1 year, just 2022, they will have 75 billion free money, which they can use if they go to borrow. If they don't borrow, they still have that 75, that almost 80 billion. Even if I remove the what and what, they will have about 70 billion, which they don't need to pay, which they can use, because they want to pay 82 billion. So if they say, wait a minute, let me just pay a bit, pay perhaps 20 billion, they will still have 62 billion, which they can use.
Do you believe our lenders who entertain this, you know?
Oh yes, there are people just...
Mind that, remember, we did a default, you know, the coupon payment, just a few months ago.
You know, default is that if I don't come to you and tell you to say, can you extend my stuff? That is default. If you and me, we have not agreed, it's default. But you can come and say, Mr. Nyirenda, I've seen, I've understood you, I know your plan is good. Instead of paying me today, you pay me in 3 months' time.
Right. You
see? So I have got 3 months' time in order to look for that money for you, Mr. PD. You see? So I do not necessarily need. Anyway, I want to recall back one of the promises that UPN did, that the Republican president said. He said, no borrowing. You have it on record.
Yeah.
You agree. Is that here?
I do remember very well. And it was, you people in the opposition that did mention that you condemned the periodic front, Wallerstein government, that possibly even the engagement of Razad, as our debt consultant, it was a fallacy, because President Bali at the time was in the opposition, including some of you. You did mention that you were going to help government resuscitate the debt without any charge attached to it.
He said no borrowing, sitting in this chair.
Exactly. So this tells me that you politicians, I think you've got your own way of doing things.
No. And I'll tell you that. Not that I want to criticize UPND. Even when I was, before UPND came to power, I said UPND was controlling Western, Northwestern, and Southern province. And there is nothing that they had done. They had MPs, councillors, mayors, and so on down. But still, problems were there. I'm saying
it wasn't their fault.
No,
the government, of course.
No.
A member of parliament.
No, it's again.
Sentiments of
it's again this budget that I'm going to criticize.
Whose job, President Nyirenda, whose job is it to develop a constituency? Is it a government or a member of parliament or a councillor?
You know,
Whose job is
let me say that. A councillor is the custodian of the land. The council is the or the city council is the owner of Lusaka. They control every little thing in Lusaka. They can come here, the city council tell you to say, today we are raising the rates from 20,000 to 50,000. You have nothing to say. They can come on the outside there to say, today we are going to make sure the parking place is about 10 kwacha per hour. You have nothing to say. The council is the richest institution in every society, not only in Zambia. In Zambia, the only place where it's the poorest. It's again in the budget. They are talking about equalization fund. Why do you want to give the council money when actually the council should be the one to contribute to the central government? That's what I'm saying. It is a fault of a councillor, of the chairman or the city mayor. Is the fault of that member of parliament. They have I've seen these guys, and I've been involved in some of the councils. They have called me there and there in the ideas trying to make money, and they have contributed, and they have made money. They can make more money than ever. Look at Lusaka. How many billboards do you see in Lusaka? Now, make yourself say, okay, if this billboard is just perhaps 1,000 kwacha, even per 3 months, count them. This city of Lusaka, they will be billionaires. Count about parking places all over which belong to the city council. Even if they took 10 kwacha per 2 or 3 hours, they would be billionaires. Every month they would collect billionaires. But the laissez-faire affair, where we are thinking, I'm waiting for money from the central government as the equalization fund. Believe you me, ourselves, wait this number. We are going to cancel equalization fund. It's not going to be there. Because the wealth of the people is in the word. That's where it is. That's where the land is. That's where everything is. But, of course, Mr. Piri, I will say this. The level of the education of our councillors, level of education of our member of parliament, it is just down in the cellar. It is terrible.
Let's say some members of parliament. Some members of parliament.
Correct me, Chizongwichi.
Yeah.
It's not everybody. It's some. It's some. Not everybody. Yeah? But now, what do we need to do? We need to spend money to educate the people. To educate the people that the wealth is not in Lusaka. The wealth is not in Kitwe. The wealth is not in Livingstone. The wealth is down there in your village. That's where actually everything is. When you move around in other developed countries, it's amazing. You go into a small village, you find that they are making billions. Basically, the country in Switzerland, the village that dominates and is exploiting us in terms of copper is a small village, and everybody in that village is rich with our copper. They are enjoying school, everything with our copper, while here we are suffering. The problem in this country, it is leadership which does not push innovation and creativity in forefront.
Do you believe that up to now, 2021, 3 months after the elections, we don't have that leadership that you've been aspiring, or that leadership you've been dreaming to have in Zambia?
Well, I don't fully want to discredit UPND leadership, because I consider that UPND leadership is still on your marks, get ready, go. On that line, they are still there, no Fukama. But there is one thing that we can say. UPND lied to us. They didn't have a shadow government. We have seen it. They didn't even know. They didn't have even a plan to say, once we get in the government, we are going to do this.
What makes you think so?
You can see at the people that they have put around them how long it has taken and how they are doing their stuff. If UPND had a shadow government, within 2 or 3 weeks, they would have all the positions were going to be there. And they would have come out with the plan, how they want to do all these things. They don't have. They didn't have. It is now that they started planning. It's now they started putting things together. Even this budget, it shows that they didn't. They didn't. You know, first of all, on the other hand, you know, if they had a shadow government, they were going to have very powerful women and very powerful young men in this government. Now you have got areas where you have got literally recycled politicians from MMD, from PF, the same politicians who have failed us, who failed this leadership. They are there. And you wonder why the budget is like this. No. I don't have any apology to that. Take the recycled people, use them as the advisors if you need them, but not in the forefront. These guys failed this country before. If they did their job, this country was going to be up.
Is it possible, President Nyirenda, to have a company full of new leaders altogether? Or you still need, you are a leader, and you understand leadership maybe better than me.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure you still need, those bigger brains to be in the forefront as well,
as
and help you
advisors
to lead. Let's say, for example, Dr. Nsogotwane here,
yes,
as Minister of Finance. You need somebody with that experience
you don't
to
need
advise
him there.
you.
No, as an advisor. You can't take me now at my age and at my word to say, Mr. Nyirenda, become a CEO of a new television station or a CEO of Muvi TV. No. You can only come to me to say, can you be an advisor to what this powerful young man is doing? And so on and so on. But not taking the old man. You know, one day I did an example in our company, in our party. There's a man who is about 62 years old and a young man who is about 40 years old. I gave them 10 kwacha, or 15 kwacha. I said, you go and get me Coca-Cola. Just some, it's also about 300 or 400 meters away. The young man came 2 times earlier than the old man. Would you know what that means? The young man will get the results 10 times earlier than the old man. These guys that you have there, the old man, is not going to give you, even, I'm an engineer. We talk about what we have at distribution function. Distribution function is that everything gets born and one day it dies. It has got its peak and is going down. So you need to identify as a leader which people are at their peak or are approaching their peak. This I want to use. You don't take those people that are now going down their peak, they're about to die in their career, and those that you take. In the engineering world, the way I know it, you will fail. You will fail. It doesn't work like that. Take those that are hungry, that want to get it, that want to step on a lion's head or a crocodile's head and run and bring the fruit back. Those that you need, and those are young people. Those are youth.
You remember, President Nyirenda, that we were told by President HH that the delay to appointing his cabinet ministers was necessitated because he was being methodic, number one. Number two, again, he was being meticulous. So meaning that he made no mistakes to arrive to the names that we have right now. And today we are having district commissioners being appointed.
Let me tell you, all these things, you do them in the shadow cabinet. It was more or less very, very clear that the change is going to go to UPND. It was clear. So these people should have been prepared. UPND was not prepared. It's like they didn't know they are going to win. It's like they think they are going still to be in opposition. I'm not talking ill about them and things like that, but this is a fact. It's this thing that we don't want to talk about mistakes, that we start creating monsters. If a person is making a mistake, tell him, this is a mistake. Then you will make him, you will stodify him. Even what I'm talking now, I think my friend, the Republican president, he will listen. He will take the sense if he wants, leave the rubbish that I'm talking. Yeah, it's not everything that I'm talking that makes sense. No, there is a bit of that in making sense. He can want to take it and use it. That's the reason why we are there. There is no way I can take him for putting these recycled politicians inside there who have failed left, right, center. By the way, do you think really that I can be appointed as a minister, I go as a minister, and I agree that position? I must be shameless. I've got people in my party. If it's somebody, because Steve, this is a position, I'll take one of my guys in the party. I said, this guy I know is very powerful, put him there, and I'm tutoring him day in, day out.
What is the concept of being an opposition political party leader? What's the concept? I believe it's to lead, not so. To lead or help, better the country.
Yes, help better the country.
So why can't you accept if you were appointed as maybe, for example, Minister of Infrastructure Development?
No, first of all, I can't be a minister. I don't think that I'm 62 years old. You need a young person as a minister.
You've never been in government. You are condemning the people that were in government in the previous. But look, you are a new person. Of course, you are 60 years and above.
Yes.
And with that vast knowledge that you have, if Bali invited you and gave you the position as a minister, why can't you take it? You are a new person.
I can only be his advisor. I cannot be a minister. No. You put young people in a ministerial position who are going to run and do the right things, who are going to literally to stand in the parliament and argue positively. You don't need all these old recycled politicians to have them in the positions. They are job seekers. Use these people as your advisors. I mean, for me, and this is what I'm doing, and I said it in the Israel government, I said we can help PF in so many other things. We will help UPND in so many other things. Look at what is happening now. We had energy problems before, way before, 2, 3, 4 years before UPND came to power. So I believe that the UPND must have crafted a solution to it, because they were opposing, like I'm doing. Now they are there, they don't have a solution. We are in the same.
You were judging too early. I mean, they've been in government for only 3 months, or should we say 4 months. How do you say, literally, they don't have a solution? It's too early, President.
No, it's not too early. This is why I'm saying, and I've said it, when they were in opposition, this problem was already there.
Yes.
For me, for example, for me, I'll tell you, me and my party, all of us together, if we look at the energy problem within the first few days, we'll sort it out. Because we know.
When you say few days, what do you mean? How many days? Few days can be even 6 months.
Within a month, a week or so, we will start putting things together, and we will tell the people to say, this problem is being mitigated by that and that and that. We have started doing all these things. Give us another 6 months, or the machines will be running. We will have no load shedding. The load shedding is back, and back full time. What is the solution? Has anybody told you what the solution is? Nothing.
We've got old machines, which have been there since independence until now, and what ZESCO is doing some rehabilitation or replacement to those machines.
Mr. Piri.
So that can't be done within 3 months or within 2 weeks?
Mr. Piri.
Yes.
I have told you to say I know the problem that is happening now. Right? And I am criticizing this problem. Like FISIP. I know the problem of FISIP right up now. That you cannot be giving so much money, 5 billion, and you get nothing. So the first day that I come inside, why should I put FISIP on that paper? I'll scrap it off. Day one, I will scrap it off. Because I know that us in our manifesto and what we are talking about in our short government, we have talked about it and we have got a solution. Yes. Look at tourism. There's no solution there. You cannot get a bare 17 million kwacha. 17 million kwacha. That's you are calculating you are going to get from tourism. That is the budget of a company in tourism. These whites who are having all these things, they get more money than that, and it's paid outside there. Yet our government says, I'm going to get 17 million. This is a joke. It is a joke. Look at our mining. 5%, barely 600 million. 600 million for everything that goes out and destroying our roads, this and that and so. No, that's a problem. I mean, for me, if they are going to say, okay, they are going to take 23 million and give it to the constituents, well and good, thank you. But what are you going to do with that 23 million? This is what the question is. There is no way, Mr. Piri, I can take 23 million, I give it to a constituency which has got 25, is it 25 or 26?
25.
25 point something,
Yeah.
say 26 million. I take 26 million,
Yeah.
I give to a constituency which has got 20,000 people. I get another 26 million, I give to a constituency which has got 150,000 people. Does it make sense? There's a thinking problem there. There's certain constituencies, they are very, very small. Certain are vast. So how is that management going to deal with a lot of people there, and the other one has got very few people there?
Why can't
Now,
we change
on
the
top
debate?
of that, look at the Auditor's General report in regard to 1.6 million which was being given by PF. Total disaster, stealing left, right, center. Have they told us, and this is what is missing, tell us how you are going to manage the 23 million in a constituency? There's going to be misappropriation of this fund, left, right, center, because the policy is not there. They don't have the policy that is going to mitigate stealing.
We've been taught that, of course, Bali is coming in to ensure that there will be serious and total supervision with regards to the disbursement of these monies. So what you're talking about may not be there.
You know, Mr. Let's not cheat ourselves. It's not about the president. It's about the country and the people in the country, the people that you are working with. If they are not careful, they will be engulfed by the same vice that they are fighting, corruption. The president may be 100% allergic to corruption, 100% on give zero tolerance to corruption, but it's not the president who does all these things. He's not well. It's the people around him. If I tell you, the most corrupt in our society is the civil service. This civil service that we have is very, very corrupt. You can't have somebody who is getting 4,000, has got 20 houses. You can't have a permanent secretary who is getting perhaps 15,000 per month or 20,000, has got 100 houses. Where does he get them from? The civil service is the most corrupt institution that we are having. Perhaps the politicians come and go. Do you have a system for that? Have they created a system in these 3 months, in 1 year, in 5 years? No.
Why can't we change the debate altogether? I think when it comes back again to the CDF issue, an increment from 1.6 to 25.7, for me, I would have been very, very much happy if you sat on that platform this evening and told the people of Zambia, as well as those in government, to say, comrades, thank you so much, or kudos for increasing the CDF from 1.6 to 25.7. Now, here's what we should do. Let's ensure that we change the debate altogether. We tell our members of parliament to begin to change or refine the laws so that the CDF should be determined according to the population of that constituency.
Yes.
Not really condemning the increment altogether. I think you are being unfair. Don't you think so?
No, Mr. Piri, you maybe have been privileged to sit in one of my meetings, constructive meetings.
Yes, sure.
I preach about 4 boxes.
Yeah.
One box is on the right is a product that you want to make. You have 3 boxes in the left, on the left-hand side, which is the human, the physical assets, and the financial assets. These they form a budget. And that budget tells you is about exactly what you want to do. So I want to come back to what you're asking me.
Yeah.
It is not, it doesn't start with what you are talking about. It starts with an idea.
Right.
It's an idea first. And once you have that idea, that's when now you can talk about money. You don't take, here's 30 million, Mr. Piri, I've empowered you. You're going to kill yourself with it. Here's 1 billion, Mr. Piri. You start with an idea. Right. Mr. Piri, this is what we want to do. It starts from you. This is what we want to do. We agree. But this is what we want to do. How much does it cost? Now you look. It costs so much in human. It costs so much in machinery buildings and so on. It costs so much in operation money. The budget now is perhaps 10 million. The budget may be 20 billion. The budget may be indeed 25 million. It doesn't start with the money. And for me, people who stand up to say, I'm giving you 25 million. For what? It's a joke. Start with an idea. Leave this money in a big pot to say, in here, you guys, you have got 3 billion. This 3 billion is for CDF. Now, what does Siavonga want to do? What does Chipata want to do? What does Kanyama want to do? Because they have got an MP. They've got a small parliament. They've got an MP. They've got a chairperson. They have got these councillors. So they will sit down. This is how we are going to sustain ourselves. And for us to sustain ourselves, it is costing, say, 30 million. Give them 30 million, not 23 million. The others will come and say, I want 12 million. Give them 12 million. And so on and so on. This issue where you are going to say, I'm going to give you 7 bags of fertilizers, it won't happen. I'm going to give you 30 million. It will not happen. That's why some people are arguing 1.6 million is enough. Yeah. They will kill themselves even with that. There is no thinking behind it. It is chipantempante. That's what I'm saying, because this template was done by MMD. Every year they just slot in figures. That's why I can imagine 1.6 is too little. Put 23, 25. Matenga 25 wafakapa. Manje muntu wakukatuva azaita nayo chan 25. Muntu wali kwa Jama azaita nayo chan 25. Muntu wali mu Livingstone azaita nayo chan 25.
How best can we come up with a better, draft of these national budgets that are being presented year in, year out? I remember last time I did host Fresha Swale of New Labour Party. Again, I think she had similar concerns such as yours, in which he said we need, to do what we call budget, collection, in which we should ensure that we begin to craft new ideas into the budget, unlike the templates that you are talking about. But my question to you is, how can we come up with a better draft of these national budgets?
Yes.
Besides the accusations, it's a copy and paste.
Opposition parties need to work, not just to stand up and criticize for the sake of criticizing. No, we don't do that. Don't stand up. No, me, I'm going to give you Binemiro at 50 kwacha. No, you need to have a system within your shadow government, how you are going to govern. Yes, because these things are there. You see, we all move around. We see what is happening in all these constituencies. So use the shadow government to discuss issues and put solutions on paper. So those solutions may be near. Some of them may be far-fetched because you may not know the forces that are in that house once you go into that house or the government. But you have worked towards it. So you say, okay, me, I think when we take over as NAREP, the first thing that we are going to do, we will remove the FISIP. Now, when you remove the FISIP, what is this that you are going to replace the people with so that the people go forward? The solution must be there, and you have it in your manifesto. You can't go there. You start taking the same paper that MMD did, that the PF has been following, that you have, and then you slot in figures there. And those figures, they don't speak for you. And because, I'm so happy that we changed the government. And I'm so happy that UPND won. And I'm so happy that we've got HH, who I think he's got integrity in what he's doing. But that will not stop me from telling them that what you are doing is wrong. Today, when you stand up, you say, this is wrong, UPND, everybody wants to fight you. No.
One interesting about President Bali, I think President Nyirenda, is that he has pledged to unite this country. And again, he's mentioned that he wants to govern this country together with the minds like yours. And you are a leader who at some point did share or compare notes with President Bali. Have you approached him and advised him regarding what you're talking about here? Or maybe this is just for the sake of the camera?
No, yes, I do.
You have?
Yes.
What has been the response?
No, I'm not going to share that with this. That's the discretion. Right. I mean, if I'm going to write him and he answers me or what and what, I don't think that is would have come on air, wouldn't it? No. But here, everything that I do, I will write to my friend and tell him that I think like this. I think like this. It's up to him. Now, this is a public document, the budget. Yeah. It's a public document. You have never seen me, ever since UPND, you have never seen me on the platform coming to say this, this. Anything that I've said, even in his appointing the people, I've written to him. Right. In background. I don't need to go on air and tell those things. No. Right. So, this is a public thing that they have put. We are talking about it publicly. I'm telling the people to say, you people outside there, you are being cheated. You are being cheated. If you are going to spend 100 kwacha in tourism, the only money that you get from there is 2 kwacha. And that's the reality. In actual fact, 1.7 kwacha. You spend 100 kwacha, you get 1.7 kwacha. You spend $1 million or more than $1 million in agriculture, you get 0. That's what is in this budget. You spend 100 kwacha in mining, you're going to get 50 kwacha. What business is that? You're getting bankrupt. Day in, day out. You wonder why Zambians are not enjoying. This country today, the people who are enjoying go everywhere. They are foreigners. Go in restaurants. Go everywhere.
Quickly,
I talk about in Muzunguja.
I want
in my country.
I want you to comment about the education system altogether in this country. And I bring this because I've got this copy, which is of your political party manifesto, of course, dating way back from 2011, about somewhere there. But of course, information doesn't expire, I want to believe. Under the education sector, the NAREP is pledging to increase the budgetary allocation to the construction of secondary schools. All right, which again is more like of the UPND. Even them, they are saying the money that they're going to borrow, part of it to go to the expansion of secondary schools as well. Yes. Again, something very progressive is to review the secondary school curriculum, making learners to study or to learn things according to their careers. These are some of the progressive points in your manifesto. Yes. How would you look at generally? How would you look at the education system in Zambia? Is it giving us the dividends that we want? Some people have said our education system only produces employees and not employers. Yeah.
Anyway, first of all, that is 2011. Yeah. That was the beginning, almost the beginning of that party. I think from 2019 onwards,
There's been some updates.
we have completely changed.
Yeah.
We have adopted a lot of other things there.
Indeed.
But even the education we have changed.
Yeah.
The education right up now from 2019, we are saying we are not going to adopt the Westman's way of teaching.
Right.
What we are using is a Western world. We need to teach people, our students, so that they can earn a living from the environment. If my environment, the way I am, favors agriculture, I must go much deeper in agriculture. If it's fishing, let me go much in fishing. If it's mining, let me go much in mining. That is another part. Another part is to make sure that Zambians literally are taught to handle things in their own way. Now, we need 100% overhaul of our education system.
Right.
If you go outside there, it's a sorry sight. And I will tell you another thing. This budget and the things that they have done right up now, this will mean that our education system is going to get worse and worse.
Right.
The quality of our education system is going to drop, even much more worse. We are saying we want to make the government school much more lucrative, better than the private schools. You will agree with me. When you go around in all these compounds, wherever you go, you wonder, ukaona so ushebana wapunzira, literally, and what can they learn? Starting from the teacher, the quality of the teachers, the quality of the infrastructure they are using, everything else, it's below par.
Right.
It is a problem.
We have to go, President Nyirenda, but I want to ask this question, a very direct question. I hope you are not speaking out of anger, in that you were a member of the UPND Alliance. I know nowadays when people hear critics or voices like yours, they will accuse you to say you were a bitter man. I hope you are not one of those.
I've never been, actually. I'm a very free and perhaps self-taught and self-styled man.
Right.
I will speak of what is in me the way it is. Why should I be bitter? I knew very well what was going on. We did the research. We knew very well that UPND is taking over. We knew. But should I stay in the alliance, even though I don't agree with him? I stay in the alliance because I want to get a position? No. If I want a position, even at this moment, I think we have worked a lot for UPND.
Right.
Me and my team, we have spent a lot of time pushing UPND up, literally from deep down ourselves. And we are still doing it. We will still continue helping them when they need us.
Right.
There is nothing about bitterness. Why should I be bitter? Even if I was working with them, I will not work for money. Right. If I'm going to help UPND today, I will not get any cent from them. Never. I will give them for free for the Zambian people.
Wow. Thank you so much, President Stephen Nyirenda, for coming and speak to the people of Zambia on national affairs.
Zambia is for Zambians. Only Zambians will develop this country. Let's hold hands and help the UPND where we can, but do not bootlick. Tell them the truth as it is, because you create another monster as we created the PF.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, to end our discussion here, my guest on the assignment has been NARE President Stephen Nyirenda. Thank you so much. To you, the people of Zambia, like I always say, may God bless Zambia, may God bless Mother Africa. Good night.